What's up, guys? Cam from Evilkind here, and we are back. It looks like the world has gotten a whole lot more evil since we've been on hiatus, but it's not like that wasn't expected. The virus is spiraling out of control here in the US. Our Confederate flag-loving and chronic race-baiting president, Trainwreck Trump, still remains in denial on the matter. Racial unrest and protests are ongoing, millions are still out of work, and more communities are being forced to go back into lockdown scenarios. When will this end? How much more depressing can this get? How much worse can it get? Well, according to some recent info of the prophetic persuasion ablaze on the web, it's about to get way worse. Like bad with a capital SHTF, like fist to the calendar bad. What constitutes a prophecy? Or the prophetic. A prophecy, as defined by the Matrix, is a message that is claimed by a prophet to have been communicated to them by a deity. In Christianity, though, prophetic revelations come directly from God and no one else. An angel can relay the message, but the message itself comes solely from the triune God. In other words, an angel or some other mystical creature will never appear to share their own thoughts or opinions. Prophetic warnings, predictions, revelations, and whatnot come solely from the very top. Besides being visited by an angel or hearing God's voice directly, other methods of prophetic revelation include divine inspiration, visions, and dreams. It should also be noted that in the Christian doctrine, prophets are only deemed legitimate if they have never been wrong. If at any point one of their prognostications were to prove false, this would automatically disqualify the so-called prophet from being a true prophet. Dana Coverstone is purportedly a working pastor with Living Word Ministries, Assemblies of God in Burkesville, Kentucky. Though he refuses to acknowledge it as true, some people are looking to him right now as a modern-day prophet. If you're one of the remaining few still in the dark about this, let me give you the 411. Basically, he put up a video detailing 3 prophetic dreams that just went nuclear on the internet because the second and third dreams are scary and foretell some very bad times in the very near future. Dozens, if not hundreds of channels have re-uploaded his content. Dozens, if not hundreds or even thousands of folks have produced commentary videos, blogs, articles, and the like, propelling the buzz even further. Many are totally convinced, but me not so much, but I'll get to that. At face value, the story seems legit, and he comes across as a good guy, and someone genuinely blown away and overwhelmed by the sudden onslaught of attention he's received from people and organizations from all over the world. He makes it a point to repeatedly refer to himself as a pastor who had a few significant dreams, steering far from the label of prophet. But I shall break it on down for you real quick. 3 dreams. One he had in December of 2019 and the other 2 this past June. He establishes credibility by telling us he revealed the first dream to associates in a prayer group shortly after having it, so the story can supposedly be corroborated. We just have to take his word for it. Because we are told the events of the first dream have come true in its entirety, we are to assume the other 2 dreams are en route and it's not looking good for us. In the first dream, he claims he was shown events surrounding the pandemic and the BLM social unrest. He said he saw people marching in protest, people with masks, lines going into hospitals, people on ventilators. He said he saw relevant news headlines, ambulances racing around town, cities on fire, buildings being burned by armed rioters, and other protesters raging against the machine in a world aflame. In the second and third dreams, again, the prime reason for the frenzy and why it's all gone super viral, Pastor Coverstone claims he was shown that between the months of September and November of this year, America will be facing hyperinflation at Weimar Republic levels, followed by what seems to be a World War III type scenario with chaos at extraordinary levels engulfing the US mainland. He mentions a total void of US leadership as Trainwreck Trump will be completely absent, nowhere to be found, and discusses how foreign troops, specifically the Chinese and the Russians, will be on US soil rounding us up and occupying quadrants, as he described it. Everything around us will go straight to good night as life as we know it ends forever. The incredibly catchy buzz phrase Coverstone attached to his prophecy were the words, "brace yourself." He claims he's been hearing these words in his head, allegedly from God himself, since he had the first dream. Folks have definitely taken all of it to heart and are a little on edge, to say the least. I would imagine they are prepping, fortifying, stockpiling, warning others, praying, cooking up some delightfully scrumptious pemmican, all that good stuff. But here's a little bit of Pastor Coverstone himself.
I was watching wealth just being taken. I saw politicians in back rooms making deals with people, patting people on the back and laughing and smiling and smirking. And I saw monuments. I saw Washington, D.C. burning. I saw Washington, D.C. blazing. I saw fires everywhere. I saw people being rounded up. I saw Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground. And Russian soldiers were telling the Chinese soldiers to go and pick up these people, round up these people, secure this quadrant, secure this area. I saw blue helmets of the UN. I saw military things taking place. I also saw no sign of President Trump. I saw no sign of leadership in Washington, D.C. But the vultures that I had seen were now like gargoyles, and they were 10 feet off the ground, 10 to 15 feet off the ground. And they were just attacking people mercilessly. I saw people hiding in their homes and garages. I saw churches being burned. I saw homes being burned. I saw absolute chaos. And the fist punch on the November of 2020 is what got my attention. And then I heard the words again, brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself.
So what could I possibly add to the conversation? I think you'll be surprised because here's what I've got. I have to be honest, my first reaction was that of suspicion and skepticism. I went through a phase not too long ago where I was hooked on YouTube End Time Dreams videos. It was basically all I would watch. You guys were all binging on Game of Thrones and How I Met Your Mother while I was sitting in a dark room watching someone in their PJs talking about how we're all gonna die from tsunamis, earthquakes, North Korean, Chinese, and Russian paratroopers, incoming meteors, and flying demons. The future is looking pretty grim, guys, but that's for another jam. So based on how I processed Coverstone's info initially, quite superficially I should add, my gut reaction was, this guy's a spook, a double or triple agent, an incredible actor, I don't trust this for a second. That's where I was at, but after doing a little investigating, I don't quite see it. He seems to be the real deal, a well-intentioned pastor who had these dreams, who's been tripping on how it all went viral, and is very concerned about the days ahead. But even still, I don't trust it. And I'll tell you why, and I'll even throw in an alternate theory having nothing to do with Black Ops or Psy-War, at least not so much to do with Black Ops and Psy-War. There were 3 elements in the second dream that tingled my spidey sense almost immediately. I don't think I was all that conscious of it until I sat down to really dive into my thoughts. The first being the time frame. In terms of end time dreams, I don't think I can recall anyone who ever laid out such a specific timeline or anything so close to the immediate future. That said, many of these end time dreamers are convinced that tribulation events are imminent, likely to happen any day now, so we are typically urged to get ready and to get right with God because time is running out. But again, no one until now has come out with, you've got 8 weeks until the capital SHTF. Who knows, maybe this really is God, and this is just how he works when it's all about to go down. The second thing that definitely raised my brow, though, was his statement about Trainwreck Trump. He made it a point to illustrate that in the midst of a foreign troop invasion, Trainwreck Trump would be missing in action. He said that in the dream he saw no semblance of US leadership, and to me it just seemed vitally important that we knew that if and when it all goes down, Trainwreck Trump will fail us. Not that that would surprise me, it just seemed like a blatant jab for the purpose of exerting influence. And finally, the third thing that made me just totally sit up and go, was how Coverstone was advising us to not just stockpile food and supplies, but also plenty of guns and ammo. I can understand, in an apocalyptic grid-down, Walking Dead, Book of Eli type situation, the need for guns to protect your family and food from rogue agents and rapists, but expecting us to arm ourselves to the teeth in preparation of a coming invasion of the Russians and the Chinese in the next 2 to 3 months seemed a little much. Can you imagine? In Jesus' name, you commie bastards! Look, I'm not mocking it. I'm totally Christian. I just don't get it. That's a losing proposition. Most people are not trained in urban warfare. It just seemed off to me. So where exactly do I stand on the matter? I want to believe that Pastor Coverstone is a good, pious man who had these dreams. Were the dreams 100% Holy Spirit inspired? At this moment in time, there's absolutely no way to determine that. Could he be a phenomenal actor playing a role masterfully for a more sophisticated agenda at hand? It's certainly possible in my book, but based on his posts, his own words, and general demeanor, I'm leaning against that. Do I think life as we know it is about to implode into the abyss of darkness? Weimar hyperinflation, absolute anarchy, troops and missiles raining down from the sky, middle-class suburban pot-bellied Rambos watching each other's sixes in tight formation. No, I do not. I think we're looking at some very hairy times ahead during the election period, coupled with the raging CV and the sputtering economy, but I do not think the puppet masters are ready to push the button on a complete societal collapse of the United States. Is there something nefarious going on with the messenger? My first thought was yes, my second thought is a little more out there. If he's not a spook and truly a good Samaritan, then it's gotta be something else. Look, if it all goes down and the good Lord really is warning us that we're all about to walk into a world of hurt, then that's what it is. 3 months from now, it's all going to be over. We'll be fighting for our lives. Many of us will be losing our lives. Nobody's going to remember anything I had to say. Nobody's watching this anyway. On that note, guys, please help support our channel and mission by liking the videos, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. We're just looking to provide you some value in the form of infotainment, some useful retail products at competitive price points, and entertainment. Let's all get into the evil kind groove, folks. But continuing. I believe what we're witnessing is a multi-pronged psychological operation being waged on a certain sector of the American population, principally conservative Christians of all socioeconomic levels. If it's not Coverstone and it's not the government, then it has to be something else, although it's hard for me to ever exclude the government. But if it is something else, it must be something we can't see or have much awareness of. Unlike most folks who live in a 2D, 3D type of construct where it's black and white, night or day, the world turning in accordance to the rules that have been set before us, I, as the evil kind guy, believe we're up against something a bit more supernatural and evil in nature. So my question would be, in this case, must we assume that all premonitory dreams of the fortune-telling nature are from the good, virtuous, most high God? Where is it written that this is the case? It's not written anywhere. So if the story is exactly how Pastor Coverstone told it, I am leaning towards the idea that these dreams were quite possibly breathed into life by the kingdom of darkness. Or it could just be a black op being run by a black op organization. Why? Because it serves a few different ends. The first being an all-out weaponization of fear, another injection of impending doom that leaves people in a very vulnerable, easily controllable state. This is manipulation on a somewhat sophisticated level. The second being the projection that once again, Trainwreck Trump is totally impotent, ineffective, and on his way out. Good, bad, ugly, I get it. I am not defending Trainwreck Trump. I think he's a madman, but everyone wants him out. Forces unseen throughout the universe, both good and bad, want this guy out. Thirdly, this push to arm the general citizenry is quite possibly a ploy to prepare this country for a planned civil war sometime in the future that will ultimately lead us into chaos and require international intervention. This will be the last nail in the coffin of U.S. sovereignty. And finally, whether you choose to believe it or not, whether you're trapped in the matrix or not, there is a dark force that wants to completely delegitimize, nullify, and wholly squash the last remaining vestiges of Christian truth. The Bible itself states there will be a great falling away eventually, leading to a time when people will seek the word and the truth but will not be able to find it. I believe this is all part of the plan, the boy who cried wolf type of situation in this case. I'm going to leave it at that. These are my humble opinions solely for entertainment purposes only. Please check out my movie Life at Evilkind.com. I produced an entire feature film, folks. It's a dark comedy for your viewing entertainment. It's free to stream right off the website. Please check out our shop at Evilkind.com. I'm in the process of revamping the store's inventory so I can bring you some cool, affordable, useful products that aren't so easy to find, but totally relevant to your lives. We can guarantee you a safe, secure, and comfortable buying experience that I will be overseeing myself. All right, folks, I'm Cam from Evilkind. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more original content, and until next time.